Hello, Swivel Heads. It's Greg Allison with Swivel Head News coming to you late live. My friends, the world is going crazy. The situation is that Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant has landmines. Yes, and the Russians admit it. And they give an explanation for why. We have an alert on sunspots. And there's a big question. Does Putin want Alaska? There's a lot of stuff still going on in the Mideast. It's the day for day, tit for tat in the Mideast, in the Ukraine. It's a meat grinder in both places. And as you might imagine, tensions are going up worldwide. So let me, I got this in the wrong spot. I need to pull up my chat room here because we are live. But we're going to cover the news first. And then we're going to go in and talk about, we'll have a little bit of chat amongst ourselves. We're going to try to make this a little shorter than that because we're getting started later. And let's see, I don't see anybody in the chat room yet. It says one watching. That's a problem going so late. Anyway, my friends, Tracy Brokenweeds, good morning. All right, folks, so let's get with it here. I'm going to hit the news share screen. Bing, bing, bing. And this is it right here. Mikhail Yulanov, he gave an explanation for why the landmines are at the ZNPP. As you might know, the IAEA came out with an announcement. Hey, they got landmines back at the ZNPP nuclear power plant. And that is very significant. Make sure this thing's turned off. Yeah, sounds off good. That's very significant because a lot of people are worried about something bad happening at that power plant for many reasons, like continuous loss of power there. The world, the largest nuclear power plant in Europe, right in the middle of a war zone. What could go wrong? Especially when you put mines in it, right? Yeah, no kidding, Jason. So, well, they give their explanation. They say, hey, they just did this because they're worried about saboteurs. They say that these landmines at the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant are necessary for protection against the saboteurs. Saboteurs. And a quote directly from this Mr. Yulanov. He says, Mikhail Yulanov, he says, there is nothing extraordinary about the presence of landmines as a common measure for protecting the stations from attacks and sabotage. Oh, yeah, it's a common measure. The landmines are located between the outer and inner fences of the plant in a restricted buffer zone. The power plant staff does not go there. The landmines pose threats only for rats, crows, and potential saboteurs. Well, if they're all in between those two fences, I suppose that's the case. If they're in the plant near critical infrastructure, it might be different. We've seen talks of these landmines in the past, and a lot of people made allegations. They were on a roof, they were here, they were there. I'm not seeing anything that really substantiated they were in a place that would pose a significant threat in the past, but you can't rule it out. So I won't say they're not there, but so far, if what he says is true, it's not. That may in and of itself may not be a lot of reason to lose a lot of sleep. However, the plant is still in the middle of a war zone. It is still very questionable how the power gets to it, and it's on and off, because we know you got to keep you got to keep the power plant cool, but you got to keep the spent fuel rods cool. And so there's a lot of challenges here. And the fact that they remined it raises challenges. Are they really afraid somebody's going to do a saboteur operation on it? That would be just about insane, but who knows? Somebody might do it. But so far, according to them, the only risk is to rats, crows, and potential saboteurs. So, yeah, I don't know, guys. What do you think about that? So, but it is something to generate concern a little bit. But like I said, I wouldn't lose sleep over it just yet. I used to do space weather late, but we got a sunspot alert, my friends. A sunspot alert. This a big sunspot, AR 3559, tripled in size over this weekend, growing 10 times wider than Earth. And it's got more than a dozen dark cores in the sunspot. So let's have a look at 3359 right here. It is. That's a pretty good sized sunspot, and it's coming around the faces. Let's hope she don't start shooting off real big. That could be a concern, my friends. So interesting, said rats and crows are very light creatures, indicating sensitive devices. Oh, yes, Jason is quite astute. So appreciate that, Jason Neighbors, my fellow friend wizard. Yeah, I meant to call you tonight. I just had too many things happen to me. I was going to further discussions. We'll just have to pick it up at some point. He and I are planning to do a series of videos on power and control and authority and corruption in government and anybody that's going to assume power and control. But that's coming to you guys. We'll just got to work it out. All right, so it'll probably be on the Green Greg's channel, maybe this one too. All right, guys. So look at this, guys. This is a huge set, and there's a video showing it, playing a little snippet right here. I don't know if that'll, there we go. See the whole thing rotating in view and growing. Look how fast that grew up. Boom. Still growing. And it's going to be facing us just real soon, right? When it's right there, it'll be directly facing us. But look how fast it grows. Wow. Pretty concerning right there. Not saying something's going to happen, but it could. So, be aware for solar storms. Says it has a threat right now for a strong M-class solar flares. Will it go into the X-class? Well, we don't know yet, but she's still growing. That's the problem. Oh, looky, we got a Cupid Snoopy in a space balloon. The aurora is not too big at the moment. There's your day-night demarcator. It's always an interesting map they put there. And if you really wonder about asteroids, we got one coming around on the 27th between the Earth and the Moon. Oh, that's the one that hit Earth. It had zero distance. It was only a meter wide. That one hit us on the 21st, apparently. Yeah, that one made an impact, but it was a tiny one. It was coming in pretty fast. 33.8 kilometers per second. That one detonated in the atmosphere. I mentioned that yesterday. It detonated in the atmosphere. That's what the Germans say, atmosphere. Anyway, guys, so if all this stuff don't make you think about prepping, what will? What will? I highly encourage you to consider going to prepwithgreg.com. From there, you can hit the store My Patriot Supply and find all kind of different prepping supplies like water filtration, air filtration. But we got a $200 deal off right now, a special on a 3-month supply of emergency food that's got over 2,000 calories a day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Make you a winner with snacks and desserts. In addition to all that, 22 varieties comes in these rugged buckets with these little pouches in them. They're lightweight, they're easy to bug out with, and easy to bury. Guys, think about the National Defense Authorization Act, which empowers the government to come take your stuff in a time of emergency. What's in your pantries might go bye-bye. So you better consider something you can bury and hide. And it's easy to do when you get buckets like this. But even if you don't want to bury it and hide it, they stack up real nice. You don't need shelves and all that kind of stuff for it. Anyway, prepwithgreg.com. Let's move on. Here's a question that's been asked because of a recent order that came out from Putin. Does Vladimir Putin want Alaska? He put out an order about the former Russian Empire property. And that's this article says got a lot of people asking questions. Well, there's Mount McKinley, what you now call Mount Denali. Yeah, when I was in Alaska, they started calling it Denali, but it was called Mount McKinley when I first went there. So that's the highest mountain in the Americas. That thing is huge. I've been over 100 miles away from it and seen it from the aircraft, and even then it was impressive at a long distance. So what they've done is he's come out with this enterprise for property management abroad, property management, subsidies put into it to search for real estate of the Russian Federation, the former Russian Empire, the former USSR. Anything that was property of those entities, he's got a search out for, whatever that means. Is it just hardware, land? What does that mean? It's kind of wide open. Some people read the former Russian Empire part, but then there's other speakers in Russia that are elucidating on that and drawing analogies to Alaska. And it wouldn't be the first time. Ukrainian blogger Igor Sushko, he's the one that's speculating here that he's indeed pining for Alaska, but he's not the only one. He said he accuses Putin of trolling the West, while our leaders shaking their boots in response, he says. But this is also coming from Russia. State Duma chair, how you say that? Vida, how do you pronounce a VY? Vyacheslav Volodin was saying back in 2022, and I think I reported on this, guys. He was talking about taking Alaska. Some of these others were talking about taking Alaska before. I did a video on that, I think, about a year ago, maybe 2 years ago. But this was more recent. He says, before Americans seize our property abroad, they should remember we also have something to reclaim. Yeah, he's hinting about Alaska. So, good luck with that. Even the troops aren't adequate up there to defend Alaska. I think that the people there are well provisioned. Let me just put it that way. So there's been some posters that have in Russia have been declaring Alaska is ours. And so anyway, they sold it. Russia sold it in 1867, but allegedly Putin and so on there are considering it an illegitimate sale. Like, you can't sell our property. It's illegitimate. Well, they sold it. We bought it, and they backed away for a long time. And this could just be a bunch of hyperbole, just a bunch of whatever. Good luck with that one, guys. Good luck with it. If the Tsar did not have authority to sell Alaska, Vlad certainly does not have the authority to repossess it. There you go. Alaska belongs to the people that live there. That's the way with any land. That's what I really feel. The people living on land should have the right to determine who they associate with and how they associate in terms of governances. And so I would say that applies to the people of Donbass. If they want to be with Russia, so be it. But the people of Ukraine don't want to be, so be that too. And that would apply to the Kurds and a lot of other people who would like to be associated differently than they presently are, maybe the Basque and other such groups. So I do believe that, you should have the right, the freedom to associate however you so choose, be it Quebec or whoever. So, but anyway, things are heated up over in Russia. A lot of tit for tat, a lot of explosions occurring supposedly deep into Russia, but they're talking about, it's deep. It's not right at the border. Let's put it that way. We're having explosions in St. Petersburg. There's been some in Moscow. Explosions and fires were reported in several Russian cities overnight on January the 21st. A possible coordinated effort by Ukraine. So there's been a lot of strikes going on. This is not new. It's been going on for a little bit now. It's just more and more of them. Russia's been trying to jam these drones. They've had some success with their electronic warfare, but apparently it's not entirely successful, or you wouldn't have these events like this. So they're getting around some of it. Now, what you see in the news, there's a lot of heavy propaganda. Whichever side you go to is going to beat their chest and talk about big victories and whatever, and they're going to play up their side. Now, this is a Greek source. It's not Russian. It's not Western per se, even though Greece is in NATO. But this source of War News 24/7 has a whole lot of the other side type articles in it, and it says here Ukrainian casualties soar, that Kyiv lost 5,600 in 7 days. You don't see this in the Western media. Is it true? I don't know. Widespread use of thermal barracks by Russian. So I don't know, guys. That could be. Now, I have seen this particular shot before. That's an older shot of multiple missile launcher here. And you can see you can see through the tubes here where some of the exhaust is still coming through. Apparently, they're vectoring over a little bit to the left. There's a lot of other articles in here about the British warships that collided. Maybe y'all heard about that. Apparently, one of them was in reverse. And for all those that are worried about Putin's health and saying he's about dead, apparently he's diving in waters that's minus 17 degrees C, but not once. They said here he dived 3 times. So, you know, for a guy who's 1 foot on the banana peel and the other foot in gravy, seems to be doing pretty good. I don't know. Of course, that could have been one of his doubles. You know, you hear he's got doubles, triples. Yeah, I've heard he's got 3 doubles. That's not exactly a double. That's like triples, quadruples. I don't know. I don't know. Who am I? Just poor dumb rocket scientist. All right, we have 47 in the room. Very good. Larry Hayden, Secretary of State, William H. Seward signs treaty with Russia. Yes, he did. He bought it 2 cents an acre. 2 cents an acre. That's what I hear. So that was a good deal. He was ridiculed for that, widely ridiculed. Well, I'm glad he bought it. I spent 2 years in Alaska and I loved it. Most beautiful state I've ever been in. Gorgeous, but like a woman. Gorgeous, but deadly. That place can take you out in a wink in that cold weather. Yeah, we've lost 90 people in the United States in the last cold spat. The one that's still going on right here, you know, it's slick as all get out outside. That ice is compacted and it's slick on top. Despite Russian forces retaking a small hamlet, the Ukrainian military says the front line holds firm. I don't know about that word firm. Maybe holding, but firm? I don't know. But they are putting in dragon teeth. They're getting ready for a major offensive from Russia. It's alleged that Russia's got another 200,000 troops that are added to the mobilization they plan to punch through. But it may be a lot like Ukraine's attempt to punch through. I mean, we're talking like trench warfare. Very difficult situation for both sides. Polish, too, say same thing. Germany had to burn their country to the ground to get them to give up. Well, that happened, didn't it? Anyway, yeah, that's just the way the war propaganda goes. You know, you're going to hear from either side, all roses, and you know the others. They'll always tell the other side is kicking buckets left and right, and we're standing tall. But you know, it's the truth is somewhere in between what each one will tell you. Both sides are probably highly exaggerated. But anyway, guys, so yeah, this is a major slugfest still going on, both sides, and both sides are losing a lot of people. And like I've told you, that the Ukraine's got the least people to lose. So in a full-blown war of attrition, if Russia is determined to stay in, if Russia wants to fight and is determined to continue to expend their young men at it in the meat grinder, which I wouldn't want to be either Russian or Ukrainian right now, I'll be honest. But you know, if they're willing to keep it up. Now, some people say that you know there's a lot getting to be a lack of will in Russia from some articles. Other articles, Putin's never been more popular. So you know, you tell me. Like I said, it's all part of that propaganda you hear. It's just according to what side you're listening to. But NATO, nonetheless, is indeed mobilizing for the biggest military exercise since the Cold War. 90,000 troops are going into this from NATO's side. Steadfast Defender 24, they call it. So we'll have to see what this plays out as. But according to General Christopher Cavoli, he says the alliance will demonstrate its ability to reinforce Euro-Atlantic area via transatlantic movement of forces from North America. Well, they're saying they're dependent on the United States with a little bit of help from our friends up in Canada. They said the reinforcement will occur during a simulated emerging conflict scenario against a near-peer adversary. Well, now, who could that be? Got no idea. Psych. Anyway, Steadfast Defender 2024 will be a clear demonstration of our unity, strength, and determination to protect each other, our values, and a rules-based international order. For whatever that is or is not worth, things are cooking. Well, now, all right, Larry is splitting hairs. A thermal barrack, also called an aerosol or a vacuum bomb. Yeah, that's a fuel air explosive. In that case, that's a nasty weapon. Anyway, Iran launches research satellite into orbit with solid fuel rocket. Well, they're telling us a research satellite could have a warhead on it for a fractional orbital bombardment scenario to create an EMP. It's always possible. We don't know exactly what's on it, but this in and of itself isn't big news. It's not their first satellite launch. A lot of channels have made big hoopla over this. I don't know that I make big hoopla over it. I've seen photographs of this thing up close from another channel talking about, thing that come out of the underground bunker next to, no, that's the flame bucket. When you launch these big rockets, unless you're Elon Musk, everybody else puts flame buckets next to the rocket. I don't know. I guess Elon got away with it last time. He was able to pour enough water in that probably didn't damage his launch pad too much, unlike the first time where he was trying to drill to China. Or maybe he was wanting to hit oil. I don't know. You tell me. Alaska Soul needs to get smurfed. Do we got Alaska Soul smurfed on my other channel? Maybe we will. I don't remember. I will stay at Canadian Prepper. I will stay at Canadian Prepper, New York Prepper, and BP Earthwatch. You mean Sub-Zero, you're going to go see them or stay with their channel? No, they all got good channels. They all got good channels. And Nate's a really nice guy over at Canadian Prepper, I'll tell you that. He's a really nice guy and a good analyst, too. But he's not a rocket scientist, so that's why I'm just telling you that was a flame bucket. But that's all right. He's a good analyst. So no complaints. I wouldn't expect him to know the ins and outs of rockets. Anyway, Israel going to destroy Hamas. Oh, yeah, what this says, that there's a couple articles been on this. That there's apparently some generals who, under anonymity, reported the New York Times that they're not capable of both freeing the hostages and taking on Hamas, claiming that the hostage freeing would have to be a okay, Alaska Soul. We will smurf you. Well, dadgummit, it moved on me. I hate it when things jump when I'm trying to do something. Bing, do 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 do. Add as moderator. Bing, bing, bang. There we go. There you are. Let's see here. There you go. You have been smurfed. So, all right, Sub-Zero, what are you saying, man? So, and some people see this as an admission of defeat from Israel, that they really can't handle Hamas. Well, it's how much to ferret Hamas out. They have really obliterated the Gaza Strip and still haven't ferreted them out. They're still firing missiles from Gaza Strip. So, and the whole world has got condemnation on Israel. And the whole goal of Hamas was to get Israel to do just what they did. I mean, how do you win given that anyway? I have to send you some Denali Foothills pictures. Okay, very good. Alaska Soul, very good. Yeah, this is a tough situation over there all the way around. I'd certainly hate to be Palestinian in Hamas and the Gaza Strip. Oh my gosh, that place is awful. I would hate that. But yeah, it's just a bad situation. There's nothing good you can say about any of this. It's all horrible what's happening over there. Any way you slice it or dice it from either side, it's just pure horrible. But it's part of the mess that we're caught up in, guys. And really and truly, why is the United States caught up in it? You really got to ask that question too. Oh, look at that missile firing on that screen. Anyway, guys. So, but I don't think that the Palestine will be free of Hamas until the Palestinians deal with the issue themselves. Amen. That's true. That's true. Hamas has really brought a lot down on their head, but apparently Hamas still has enough support that they would probably win again in an election in Palestine, and that's what makes Netanyahu not too supportive of a Palestinian state. But he did get back with Biden on that, and at one point he said no Palestinian state, no way. But he went back to Biden and said, well, yeah, there is a way, but I don't know what all the details are. But apparently it would probably be sans Hamas. no way for Hamas to come back to power, or some agreement to recognize Israel, which the Hamas definitely will not do that. New York Prepper's good channel. I always learn something. Oh yeah, definitely that. His name's Greg also, and I think he and I have talked about having some joint videos. We just hadn't got around to it yet. So yeah, his channel is blown up. He's grown a lot. Water cooled steel plate held up well for SpaceX. It did, but still being able to repeatedly launch every 2 to 3 hours. Yes, he wants to do a lot of turnarounds. And really and truly, I think he needs to do all that from sea, because that booster is the quantity distance from that for that thing, if it were to detonate, would take out a couple of adjacent towns, or do significant damage in a couple of adjacent towns. That thing should be launched at sea as soon as they can get. They've got two mobile oil rigs, which they bought for the purposes of making launch platforms, but it is a lot more difficult to launch from sea, because you get all your logistics right there where you're launching from. So I hope they can work that out and take that thing to sea to launch. It's just too risky, too dangerous to be launching in all these cities on a repeated basis like that. Now, yeah, they got to have the reliability way up. You got to have incredible reliability to meet his goals. All right, enough said about that. So yeah, he would be good. He would be good. So it's a bit like us here in the USA in our criminal element. Yes, Jason and I were talking yesterday, and we basically agreed that all governments are run by gangsters. That's like mobs. Now, and really and truly, these mobs are competing. A lot of people think they're absolutely one sheet of music and marching the same orders. No, they're vying for who's really going to control them. They got some big general goal together, at least most of them. They're competing to see who's going to be the head of it. So that's why that's part of the whole war matrix we're facing. But they're all gangsters. They all need each other. They need the war to justify their positions and power. But God, good Lord, what did it pull us into? Was on Discord, but once got heavy into Y2 videos, he stopped doing Discord. Well, it's just a lot of work to do. Bring this stuff, banksters. Yeah, a lot of them are banksters. They say all wars are banker wars. So, guys, we're in a tough situation. But a lot of people are waking up to where we're at, and that's going to help. Strategic partnership with Israel costs the taxpayer $10 million per day. Wow. Yeah, why are we footing all the bills? The one thing they all agree on, they don't want people to be in. Yeah, exactly. That's like, Klaus Schwab. Everybody thinks China's against Klaus Schwab and Russia's against. Well, Klaus Schwab was praising China in his, that last trip to Indonesia, where they had one of those big group, whatever was it, group 7 or whatever it was, meeting they had in Indonesia. They got the 7, they got the 21, whatever. A gang of 7, gang of 20. That's the best way to put them, guys. All gangs, all gangsters all. Yeah, they want to be in control. They don't want us there. Well, I'm going to show you something on that too. So here's just another article saying the same thing in a different way. The IDF generals admit they can't defeat Hamas as Israel warns war is unwinnable. Well, I don't know about unwinnable. Of course, this guy here, Netanyahu, if the war drags on forever, it gives him, better position and keeping his job. What will people do to keep their job? This? Holy rockets, what a wreck. That's awful. Any way you shape it, boy, what happened to them was awful. It's all awful. Now, this gets back to kind of like what Putin was talking about. Russia threatens West, basically our companies and stuff here, with $288 billion in losses and retaliation for freezing Russian assets. Looks like there's some freezing going on over there in Moscow right now. Looks kind of like Alabama. Oh, yeah, you see that wall there? That's the wall of the Kremlin. I've been inside the Kremlin. I have been inside the Kremlin. I enjoyed my trip to Moscow, by the way. So, as Colonel Cole reported to us last night before it really got out in the news, indeed it's the case that the militias in Iran that were back, militias in Iraq fired once again against the Ain al-Assad air base that we got there. And apparently it caused injuries this time. Sometimes they claim no injuries. This time the injuries include brain trauma, brain injuries. I don't know how bad it is, but this just keeps on going. Of course, the Ain al-Assad Air Base. Now, guys, I've asked, why are we even there? On one side, Iraq will publicly say they want us out, but then they turn around privately, request us to stay there. Yeah, they actually requested we remain officially, privately, but publicly for the consumption of their population. They want us out. Larry Smith says 3.65 billion is a drop in the hat. 10 million per day is meaningless number when Americans overspend. Yeah, but it all adds up. We need to start cutting somewhere. Hey, Colorado Jan, how you doing? Good to see you in the house. That's tit for tat for threatening to send 300 billion in Russian assets to Ukraine. Exactly. That's what it is. That's exactly what it is. Which should be better than sending paper money. Probably. But, holy guacamole, smoke-a-mole. All righty. Houthis vow to continue to fight, and they will. That's all they're going to do because that's what they know. That's all they know. They're born to fight. But U.S. prepares for sustained campaign. Apparently, Biden has signed off orders and just says, hey, we're going to keep that. Oh, I thought I had 2 articles on this topic open. So, guys, it's been every day they fire a missile and then we shoot back. It's an everyday situation there. So this is going to go on for some time, and keep expending our munitions that might be better held for a conflict with China. But then how's the United States not try to keep the shipping lanes open? Because aside from having the petrodollar, ensuring free trade around the world has been a part of what's kept the American dollar in the global currency arena. This keeps a lot of so-called partners and allies trading in the dollar as part of the that was at Houghton Woods, or what was that conference that they had after World War II where they set all that up? Whatever good that is. So I'm not saying that was a great and wonderful thing neither. So don't try to read into what I'm saying. I'm just telling you what their justification is. Hey, cowgirl in Arizona, how you doing? So anywho, Ron DeSantis ends his presidential campaign before the New Hampshire primary. So he just went to one caucus, and he's already said it's over. But he did endorse the T-Man. Bretton Woods, that's it. Bretton Woods, thank you. I get brain locked sometimes. Bretton Woods, Jason, hit it right. Bullseye. Bretton Woods. So, yeah, so the campaign is thinned down to 2 candidates. So we got Nikki Haley and Trump. Nikki Haley clearly leading, and the 2 that dropped out both endorsing Trump. Now, I kind of reminded you guys a few days back that Nikki Haley is being funded by none less than her wondrous friend, Uncle Soros. Oh my gosh. Listen to how I say that very facetiously. Yikes. So this is an opinion piece here in the Washington Times. And what they're claiming is what the real meaning when these guys are saying tyranny is they want a one-party system. So that's what they're talking about. According to this writer, according to him, but he talks about how there's been a discrepancy in the way some of the 3-letter agencies treat the T-Man versus President Potato Head and his family. We wouldn't know what they're talking about now, would we? Yeah, we discussed this in the past, but this is getting to be thin ice, dangerous territory, so I'm going to skip away from that on this platform. That's getting to be very thin ice to cover. A vote for Nikki is a vote for the same people running Joe Biden. Bingo. Not that voting is moral at all, but I like DeSantis. He's good at handling Florida. That he is. He is that. Well, he's a young man. Yeah, I expect to see him come back, as compared to Trump. I expect to see him in the future. So that'll be interesting. And who knows who's going to be the VP for the T-Man. It won't be the previous VP, I guarantee you that. So, all right, guys, and kind of in league with that previous article I showed you, will do anything to get a vote. Washington State Dems propose allowing convicted, basically felons in prison to vote and serve on juries. Now, how would you feel if you were a victim and your assailant's under trial and the jury has got one or more convicted felons in the jury? Would that make you feel comfortable? If that would make you feel comfortable, if you're fine with that, put a 1 in the chat room. If you think you would not like that, if you were the victim, put a 2 in the chat room. I'd like to see what you guys think about that. He said it wasn't non-moral, I think. I think you're misreading him there, Brian. How you doing, Brian? Good to see you in the house. All righty, folks. So I don't know, guys. This is back when I was a mini archist. I like Ted Cruz for president. Yeah, he's been interesting. Ted Cruz is an interesting guy. So we got a 2 from Michelle Young. Yeah, she wouldn't feel comfortable. Arnold wouldn't feel comfortable. I wouldn't feel comfortable. I put a 2 in there for that. Was voting as a requisite for the state to engage in acts of. Ooh. We got Rambo in the house. Hey, Rambo, how you doing? Well, we're really late, Rambo. That's probably it. And this channel is just gearing up, and a lot of people aren't used to coming here yet. So we got to get people used to coming over here. Hey, come there for vegan. Good to see you. Yeah, we're going to be doing more videos over here. In fact, I'm probably going to start doing all my news over here, but maybe by the 1st of February, if not sooner, because everything I put on Green Greg's, they instantly demonetize in this category. And I think my Green Greg's channel is at risk if I keep getting hit that way. I don't want to just disappear. I don't want to be taken off. There was a moment in the past of the USA where we were supposed to move in more personal responsibility. Oh yeah. I know what moment you're talking about. So yeah. Viva the Articles of Confederation. Yeah, why in the world we get that Constitution? All right, guys. I probably can't even talk about this loud, but these guys have announced this. For me to say what they've announced is probably verboten. But the director of the Who Are You? Who? He's called for this treaty to be signed. Now you got to understand. So I think it's really coming not technically as a treaty, but it would be treated the same. A treaty is considered. Back when the Constitution was developed, they did not realize probably what the world would be like it is today. And a treaty is a high-level agreement between nations, and they consider it to be above the Constitution. That's in the Constitution. So now they're doing treaties for everything, including blowing your nose and picking your ears or whatever. So this is very concerning, guys, because this gives these guys the authority to overrule whatever you want to do here in regards of dealing with pandemics. Basically takes the sovereignty away, which, we're talking shutdowns, we're talking quarantines, we're talking, they might want you to have something in your shoulder that you might not otherwise want, but they may give you no choice. I don't know. That's the allegations that have been made about what this thing is allegedly to do. I don't know. I posted a picture of this guy curtsying to Xi Jinping. So I don't know, guys. Anyway, here's what's really concerning. This fits with what they told us over there at that big meeting, the big powwow in Switzerland they just had, where they determined the biggest single problem facing the world today was disinformation and misinformation. Elites believe Americans are too free. They support ration of gas, ration of meat. And of course, to them, the worst thing is freedom of speech. Americans enjoy too much freedom. Wow, too much freedom. Yeah, I don't think, imagine most of you would go along with that. Anyway, in other news, on the science front, now they got DNA computers that can self-assemble. They can assemble themselves and start solving problems. Well, this is probably about the level of technological development as when Shockley first developed the transformer. I meant the transistor. Senate Robot made me think transformers, like the cartoon. To me, a transformer is two electrical coils that step up or down voltage. Very dangerous to write a blank check like that. Bingo, that's the problem. Writing a blank check. Okay, do whatever you want. You're in charge. He's not. Who elected him? Who elected him? The elites want less freedom. That can always be arranged. Amen to that. How's they tell us to stop eating meat, stop eating beef, and go nowhere other than where we can walk or ride a bicycle, put us in a 15-minute city while they're zooming around in their private jets and dining on caviar and steak while they tell us to eat the bugs. Oh, yeah. Yep, it's called feudalism, guys. That's what they're looking for. Looks like Puerto Rico and Hawaii both just had a shaker. I don't see any big ones in Americas. That's all pretty small stuff in the 2-point area. Yeah, 2.8. Oh, it might be a little bigger than 2.8 right there. Yep, 3.0 in Eckerly, Texas. What is that one? That was 3.1 in Alamo, Nevada. Okay. Up there near Mag Rising, 3.2. So the Sitna, I guess that'd be where you said the Sitna. If Klaus wants to, I'm sure he can find a meditation cave in Tibet to go hang out in and live the austere life that he loves so much. Now he loves for us to live it. I'm invading Mexico with a trained army of Mexicans. Okay, Larry. Good luck. Yeah, you better cut a deal with the cartels. They're the ones in charge, not the government. Anyway. Oh, looky here. Colombia, 5.2. China, that's over in the Uyghur country there, 5.1. Exu. All right. We got some big ones down in Chile. See if I can click on the outer one. There we are. 5.1. Santiago, no, San Antonio, Chile, excuse me. All right, that's probably the one I just clicked on earlier. Yep, supposedly in China. All right, folks. So it's shaking around the world a little bit. Not as bad as some days, but speaking of days, we've got still some cold days around here. That looks like freezing rain. That's nasty stuff, Missouri, and coming into Arkansas, Michelle. Better watch out. He might even benefit from the experience. Oh. Steak and roast prices are crazy high. Oh, yeah, it is. Hey, Brandy, how you doing? Let's see. Ding, ding. Good to see you in the house. I'm trying to get in here too. Randy, you've been smurfed. Might smurf a few more of you guys before we're done. Snow following the sheet of ice. Be careful. Yeah. You see the snow, you think you might walk on it easy, and then it slips underneath because it's got ice underneath. Well, we had about 2 inches of sleet here, and then sleet's heavy, dense stuff. And then it glazed over on the top. Oh my gosh. It's like walking on ice, and it cracks as you're walking around sometimes. Sleeting. Okay, Michelle, I wouldn't doubt that. Yeah, some nasty stuff. We got 2 inches of that mess here. That's a heavy, sleet don't usually fall that heavy. If it'd been snow, it'd probably been 7 inches. If it'd been flaky, fluffy stuff. Anyway, we still got it, whatever it is. All right, guys, we got some chilly temps all through here, 20s and 30s all across the country, except the West Wokistan. Seems pretty warm over West Wokistan, 43 in Seattle, double nickel in San Jose, double nickel in Los Angeles, but 46 in Lost Wages. Yikes. Anyway, I don't know if I'm going to go through all the cities tonight, go around the world on it. We already got a late start here. And take back the Panama Canal. There you go. Yeah, let China have it. Holy guac and smoke-a-moly. Well, holy guac and smoke-a-moly, guys. Looky up there. A lot of snow in Canada. One side to the other almost. Snow, snow, snow. Arnold, is it snowing where you're at? He's over in western Alberta, but I don't know how far north you are, Arnold. Won't be long before we're eating birch pine and cherrywood steaks. Oh yeah. Well, I tell you what, you can eat that camion later, the inner bark of most trees. Or some trees would be toxic, though, I imagine. Minus 28 in Fairbanks. Okay, it's getting chilly up there, so that means it's going to warm up here. Delta Junction is minus 28. Okay. Yeah, we're warming up tonight. It got down to 6 or 7 degrees last night here. I think we're going to be like low of maybe 22 tonight. Zoom in. Nashville is 21. Ardmore, 22. There's an Ardmore somewhere else. Oh, that's the weirdest name. But there's another Ardmore. Is it in Arkansas? Where's it at? There's another Ardmore out there somewhere. Heber Springs, 32. Fayetteville, 30. Fort Smith, 30. And Fort Smith is probably close to you, Michelle. How far are you from Fort Smith? The elites want us to eat each other. Yeah, pretty much. They want you dining on long pork. 20-something outside in Area 51. We got a lot of rain down here in Texas. All this is going to come up and head east. Mineral Wells, 35. Amarillo, 34. Planet Houston is double nickel. It's like Lost Angels. Double nickel. Snowflake, 37. Warmer than here. See, all the time I was out there, it was colder there than here. I guess the cold weather just followed me. Yeah, for a while, every time I went to Snowflake, it rained. So they thought I was bringing the rain. 2 hours north of Fort Smith. Okay, Michelle. So let's back off here a little bit. Look at it all. Granny's in the house. Salt Lake City is 35. And it's SLC at that one. The airport code there is SLC, so I always call it slick. SLC. Look here down further south, 23. Probably closer to Granny. All right, guys, that's enough weather for me. Well, we can go down under. We got from down under. Rodney told me you had to work tonight. Well, look at that line of storms. Right along the equator. Interesting. And now here's another similar line. The whole ring of storms right close to the equator. I mean, that happens sometimes. Rodney said it's over 100 degrees when he sent me an email. Brandy, they're finding, oh Lord, Brandy, that is gross. Look here, 111 degrees right here. 111 down here. Ooh, yeah, summertime. And it's desert. I guess these guys up in the northern part are happy for all this rain. It's raining there yesterday. Sydney 70. Canberra 64. That's a nice balmy weather. Of course, it's for summertime. Melbourne 62. Hobart 53 in Tasmania. Christchurch is 70. Dundee 66. Yeah, New Zealand tends to be a little cooler than Australia. Well, we should go look at Europe a little bit. We got anybody from England, or we got anybody from elsewhere in Europe right now? We had Spain in the house last night over on Green Griggs. 46 in London, 44 in Hull. Dublin's 43. Yeah, they got some high winds over coming off this storm. High wind, a lot of wind over there. So I can put a stake in it here. That's a rainfall. All right. We get wind. If it's red, it's pretty windy. 36 knots right there. Where you get the wind on here. Anyway. Spain is 37 in Madrid. That's pretty cool down there. Norway, Oslo's 41. 41 up here, 30 up here in Bodo. Murmansk is 17. We always find the coldest temperatures in Siberia somewhere. Usually. Minus 28 in Delta Junction, same as that. Minus 29 there. Okay, not as cold today. Okay, there we are, minus 38. Minus 42, minus 44. Okay. Siberia, it's not one to disappoint you in the wintertime for cold weather. All righty, folks, we're going to stop the share. Yeehaw. Halo. Formaldehyde beef hangover resorts. Ooh. Hate seeing anyone. The end of the deep portions. I recall a video where a guy was doing a how-to for making sausage and reminiscing about the Doktorska. I can't know how I said sausage and kielbasa. Oh yeah, I like kielbasa from the early days of USSR. I expect it was made. Kulaks. I don't know what that is. The period that the sausage changed became less tasty, coincided with the. Okay, Tricia Hammock, how you doing? We got 60 in the room watching. Been in here for 53 minutes. Ryan Gregg's got his Finland colors on. Matches my eyes. Yeah, probably. I got some ancestors, a bunch of ancestors in that part of the world. Got a lot of Nordic ancestry. We have a Christian family here that own a New York style pizza place. Everything from scratch. Okay, very good. Very, very, very good, folks. So we have a pizza joint up in Gadsden and Albertville. It's kind of a mini chain called Mater's. Now, I know they used to have one in Boaz. They used to make the thickest pizzas I had ever had anywhere. On Sand Mountain, of all places. I mean, giant, thick pizzas. They were amazing. I mean, not the crust. I mean, the toppings were just amazingly thick. The Kulaks were the land-owning Russians, branded enemies of the people and deported to Siberia. Oh, yeah. Landowners can't have that in a crumminess society. Yeah, Brandy. Maybe we could visit it one day if you get up this way. See what they got over in the one in Albertville. That's where I went to high school. Cargill, Arizona. We planted elderberry, blueberry, raspberry, and Bidenberry. What? Bidenberry. Yeah. That must be one feeble fruit. Chicago style. Okay. Bidenberry. That must be a feeble fruit. Moab, Utah. You want to see Moab? Anyway. All right, Tricia, better late than never. You can catch it on the rewind. We've through the news part. Boysenberry. Okay. Bidenberry. That's scary. I wouldn't eat it. I knew. Hardy folks. Just got done making bread and decided to see what's going on with everyone. Very good. Glad to have you. We're late. Very late. Our city is so toxic in Russia next to the industry. Oh, yeah, yeah. They didn't have the environmental standards over there that we had here in the Western countries. And a lot of pollution, a lot of pollution. Some of the worst pollution I ran into, though, in the air was over in Cleveland. And I was driving for next to down the highway, just north of the Space Center and south of the Ford engine plant. And whew, I thought I wasn't going to be able to breathe. I was getting scared, actually, because the air was seriously impacting me. And I was having a tough time breathing. It actually scared me. I was worried. I was afraid I'd pass out. It was that bad. Whew. I guess I just wasn't used to it. Was not acclimated to it. Ooh, man, it was some bad air. I just ended my 6-day fasting. Okay, watching the KC Chiefs beat the Bills again. All right, I hope you're having fun with that. Texting to yourself. Oh, let me say that, Granny. Pittsburgh used to be. Yeah, I bet. Now for Birmingham, Alabama, used to have a lot of steel mills, and so did Gadsden. And sometimes in the mornings you could find the soot settled out, precipitated out. It'd be on the surface of cars and things around there. Yeah, you drive down to Birmingham, the whole sky had this brown haze over it. Or you could see it like brown layer of clouds from all the smoke puffing out of the steel mills. And you could see and hear those Bessemer furnaces back when they'd pour the steel from a good distance away. There's bone rendering plant in the Integral Heights. Now that smells okay. No food at all for 6 days. All right, I've gone a couple days without eating. I was doing some intermittent fasting back in this last summer before I went to Arizona. I lost a bunch of weight, but again, a little bit of it back, but not fully. Not fully. I'm not to that level. So I need to do that again before I head back out there. Anyway, I have coffee, tea, and water. That's all I drink myself. Coffee. And here's my tea. Which I brewed myself. Yes, sir. Coffee, tea, and water. That's what I do. Who are you picking up next week, Larry? Oh, okay. So, yeah, I had a little misfortune today. I was running an errand. I was on the back road on my way up to Tennessee and crossing a bridge, and some big box truck decided to swerve over a little bit in my lane. Maybe he thought he had too much ice on the right side. I was in my lane. Apparently, his mirror hit my mirror. And my mirror got knocked into my window, shattered my window, glass went everywhere, and it busted my mirror. And we're about to have rain for a whole week, so I probably won't be able to go anywhere. It nicked me a little bit. I had a little red stuff oozing out of here, but it stopped. I mean, just a little nick. I had a little nick down here. you know, right there it is. And my shoes are full of glass. Yeah, you know, those little chunks of glass when you break the window. My shoes, I had to get out and had to dump my shoes out because I had glass in both shoes. So, yeah, it's a mess. Now, my truck has got a bearing issue. Blue does, which I thought was getting fixed. We replaced the power steering, but that wasn't it. And we hadn't done nothing this past week because of the ice. I need that truck to start moving things around. I got to clear this place out. So yeah, I've been having a kind of a interesting time. Well, too interesting in the Chinese proverbial sense, guys. But it is what it is. You know, things happen. But you know, I got one vehicle stranded in Arizona, one vehicle stranded in Houston, and two here that ought to be running. Neither one are now up to what they ought to be. But I'm going to have to, I don't know, out that window and it's raining. I can't, if I just tape it up, I won't be able to see where I'm at. So I'm kind of stranded here for probably about a week. Start small and build up. Insulin resistance can be reversed. Yeah, I agree with that. For a lot of people have had success with that. Glass slippers are Greg's new fashion statement. Uh-oh. Yeah, I had glass in my slippers and my shoes. Not exactly slippers, but I kind of wear them that way. Kind of look. Yeah, I bought these in a Walmart in Taylor, Arizona. I bought these in Taylor, Arizona. They already look pretty rough, you know, in the desert. You know, walking around the desert takes a toll on some shoes. But yeah, any of that. They had glass in there. They tie, but I try to tie them where I can just slip them on and off. Because I don't like tying and untying because I slip my shoes on and off a lot. When it rains, it pours, literally. Well, it's about to. Well, it's about to for a whole week. So we just had everything frozen for a whole week. So we were frozen. Now we're going to be flooded, from freezing to flooding. Yeah, Brandy, you're going to get some storms down in your neck of the woods from what I've seen too. So good luck with that. It's going to be worse down there. I went 45 days fasting about 25 years ago. No weight loss. Wow. But I did not intend to go on a long fast. It just worked out that way. That's a little too long. You're putting your health at risk. A man was 380 pounds and went without food for 88 days, just water. Lost 160 pounds in 88 days. His doctor said he was healthy. You got to worry about heart tissue. You know, your body will consume muscle at some point if you're not careful, and you don't want to lose heart tissue. That's the thing I'd worry about the most. Jason, does Pepsi count? Man, sodas are horrible. They're bad for you. They're really bad for you. Yeah. Anyway, folks, I think we're gonna call it a night. It's late. Let's end this one early. Let's do one. We're a little bit over an hour, but let's try to keep this one down. They should have been medically supervised. That would have been a bad idea. The doctor would probably tell you right off the bat, stop that. Or at least eat a little protein, maybe some nuts or something. Get a little protein in you, if nothing else. All righty, folks. I want to thank you mods. Thank you, everyone, for watching. We're going to go. We're going to go now. Let's end one early for a change.